Welcome to Team London, Young Ambassadors. This is a roundtable and today we'll be talking about youth safety. So, guys, firstly, I'm going to ask you, what does youth safety mean to you?
Youth safety means how safe young people are, especially ages 16 to 25, and how they feel in terms of where they live, where they stay, and how they feel as a young person.
Youth safety to me means how safe the youth are in the community, and
youth safety doesn't really mean a lot to me because there's not a lot of safety being kept in the community and that.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, how you got to define youth safety if you haven't experienced any in Newham? So it's a bit of a tricky question. How safe do you guys feel in Newham?
On a scale of 1 to 10, for about 2 or 3, because I have to put something in place for me to block out the youth violence, or for me to stay safe, which is either me doing something productive like going training or going to education. But if that was not in place, then you could say that I'll feel very, very unsafe, because there's so many things that's happening, and we can even see right now in our community that there's so much violence that's going on, that some people don't have the opportunity that we have by going training or doing education, that the risk for them is very high, extremely high. And that's why I think that really and truly it's not that safe in our environment.
Personally, how safe I feel, I don't think it's that safe, because there is a lot of issues going on so far with like gang violence and trafficking and so many different stuff, which makes it, as like young females to walk around, they don't feel as safe because they're always in fear of getting snatched on the road or someone looking at them or something like that. And for young males, I think it's like maybe a group of boys might approach you and something might go left or something like that, which I feel like is not really safe personally for the youth to be walking around.
Also, I think in terms of youth having fun, is only limited. They can't really express themselves to the fullest because they're not really sure like what could happen to them. For example, if they want to go out to a party, or if they just want to have fun with their brethren or their friends, it could go left. So a lot of people are wary and very scared just to come at the show that they've put themselves in.
In my day, like being the bad boy or the gangster was what was in. That's what was popular. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, the girls respected it, the guys that wanted to be it. Today, is the good guy being celebrated? Like, is the guy that's doing his college work, the guy that's going to university, is he being celebrated over the bad boy, or is the bad boy still the super popular person who most people gravitate towards and respect and get? Like, you know what I mean?
It's both actually, because the good guy can only get praised or get respected after he's actually shown that he's made it. However, the bad guy, everybody wants to have that image that yes, I'm the bad guy, I'm the one, the most popular person, but everyone wants to have that. So it really hasn't changed. It just depends on the future lifestyle of what they're going to end up becoming towards the end. Is the bad guy going to end up going to jail and then everyone forgets about him, or the good guy going to actually be a millionaire, and then you now see from there that actually at one point it becomes dead, that nobody really cares about it, but at a certain point, especially as a young person, everyone feels gassed up about it. They just want to be that person, which is still happening right now. That's why a lot of people are getting drawn into youth violence.
I want to add on to that point. I feel like let's say the younger generation, I feel like those who are the good boys or girls look up to and want to be the bad boy or girl because of the respect that they're getting. Mm-hmm. But little do you know, the bad boys and bad girls probably look upon the good girls and boys more, but we don't see that. And I've only recently realized, because I'd always it'll be nice to be popular, do you get me? It'll be nice to be bad, innit?
You're
Like,
popular.
people, that's what I'm talking about when I was young, like, when I was, like, really young, like, oh, like, getting some sort of, like,
Clout.
credit, clout, all that. But then it's like, now I've seen it, when the older you get, the bad girl or the bad boy, now want to be good, they want to turn around, they look at the good people way more, they want to be them, they want to be better with themselves. Like, a funny story was a girl that used to bully me back in year 8, she was like, no, she used to bully me back in year 8, and now, right now, literally, like, this moment, present time, she's like messaging me saying, oh, yo, like, I wanna do what you're doing, I wanna come in boxing, like, can you PT me, can you do this one, can you, like, you're doing, and I'm just there like, we had like a weird like past, but obviously things were like forgiven and everything, but it was just like, you see how she wants to like change her life around and everything, and I wanted to be that, like, it's crazy.
I think it's a journey, to be honest. Like, obviously a lot of people, like, I feel like a lot of young youth, they always start off with the trying to be the bad boy and get into the gangs and stuff like that, until, like, let's say in later life they might, like, by the time they get to 19, 20, they might get caught or something like that by police, they go jail for a little bit, and then they realise, oh yeah, I shouldn't have done this, and then, like, a lot of them, like, they regret it because they tried to live that life, but now they're looking at it like it wasn't worth it, and they're basically just trying to, like, change it, but obviously it's their past, so they can't really change it. It's just having to move forward.
It's like a trend. So at first it starts off to be all goody. Everyone's like, yeah, this is fun. This is what I want to do. But then they don't realize that later on it can change. But everyone's living in the moment. They're not really looking at the future. They're just looking at now, or this is what I want to do right now. But you can't really blame people because that's the stage that they're at right now as well. That's the stage that they're just going through. It's this experience. It's just, okay, this is the reality. Some people are not really as mature as others. They might not really think ahead. They just want to be around the circle. They just want to be involved. They just want to be wanted or accepted. That's the word, accepted, because they feel like everyone is doing it. So why can't I do it as well?
Yep.
So literally, that's it.
Like, the bad guys always gets the girls, gets everything, gets invited to parties and everything, and obviously the people who are just studying in their books, they probably have dreamt about, oh, like, how do it feel like to be in that position? Is it all this and that? We don't know it, but those people who actually have experienced it can tell you that, you know what, it might not all be worth it compared to, like, what you could get, what you could have done instead of partying, and you could have just studied and you could have been further, like, and they feel bad that they didn't. Like you said, they feel bad that they wasted their time doing all this when they could have been
Something productive.
do something more productive. But then those who never experienced it, which they can just experience it just so then they can see. It's a bit weird, like, you know. The next thing I wanted to say was, what experiences have you, or like someone you knew, has like faced in terms of youth safety?
Well, me personally, it's been a lot, like, from the age of 11 till now, like my age, which is 18. I've seen so many things that, to be honest, you shouldn't really be seeing that as a young person. A young person, you're meant to explore, you're meant to just go out, learn new things, take in stuff. But then as a young person, when you see stuff that is like, wow, like, yo, people have never seen it before, and then it becomes a norm, like, you just really get built into it. You're like, okay, well, it's normal, but really and truly, it's not really normal. Because if you go ask somebody else that is outside the area or outside what you've seen, and you tell them, well, this happened, they'll be so shocked. They'll be like, what? Like, this really happened to you? But you've already taken it as a norm. Like, you'd be like, yeah, it's natural. I've seen it every day. I've seen people get stabbed up. I've seen people get shot. I've seen people just die right in my face. I've seen people get robbed numerous of times, or I myself have done it, or my friends have done it. So it's like, oh, normal. But when you tell somebody that's not been in that environment, they'll be like, what? Like, what, have you really done this? Like, how are you living this type of life? So as a young person, even just living in Newham, seeing it that, yeah, so many stuff will happen. Even your friends past, like, that's someone that you've been close to since, year 7. year 6 years. From primary school, you're going on a journey together. You guys are trying to plan, okay, this is what I'm going to do when we finish college or when we finish uni. And then before you even get to that stage, they're gone and they passed away. So it's that, like, now you're like, what am I doing with myself? Like, how can I even like extend my life to even be happy when you've lost somebody that's so close to you? And then when you're seeing the people around you who lost people that's close to them as well, it's like what do we do? So you can just say that it's been normal, but it's not normal because we've seen it, and it's like it's not meant to be like this at a young age, if you get what I mean. Like, we should be actually here having fun, feeling that we're safe regardless, because we came here up to a place, or our parents brought us to a place because they felt that it was safe for them and it's safe for us. But then there's a lot of things that happen in a way that is out of their hands and is onto our hands now. And then when we see it, we can't really do anything about it because it's just a norm now. And we take it as normal.
I guess like I have like specific experiences, like, you know, getting like seeing someone die in front of my face, or seeing people fight or have like crazy like beef or anything. But I guess in the broad spectrum of like people like following you, or like following you with a car, or like even catcalling you or stopping you or something, it does make me feel a bit like, oh, a bit unsafe, because you never know what people can do. And as a girl, as a female, walking around Newham, that is like, you never know. I think if it wasn't for boxing, I probably wouldn't be able to like do a lot of things out of fear. But also, I feel like my family, my parents wouldn't even let me do a lot of things because of it, because I do boxing and because they know I know how to protect myself. It has given me a lot of opportunities, but even then I still get scared walking in the dark, which is a bit weird. Maybe not in my area specifically, like let's say North Woolwich or something, but let's say if I go in another part of Newham that I've never been to, it does get a bit scary, you know, because it can be a bit dodgy.
Well, do you think other people, when they hear about this stuff, do you think that they're aware that people like me or something, like me, I've seen stuff like this, or I've actually experienced that? Do you think that it affects them from staying away from certain places like Newham?
I think it does, to be honest. Like, some parents obviously see this stuff in the news, so like, or this certain areas, a boy has died or something like that. Like, probably like a year or two ago, a boy died in Stratford, so obviously some parents were, I don't need to stay in Stratford for too long, make sure you just go through wherever, get a bus and go home, or just quickly, I don't need to be in there for too long, stuff like that. So I feel like it probably does come like on the news a lot, so obviously a lot of parents watch the news, or it might pop up on Instagram, so, or Facebook. A lot of older generation use Facebook a lot. So their parents most likely be like, oh, don't go into there. Not necessarily themselves. They might still want to go there because their friends are there, or their school is there, or like some type of like social place is there for them to go. But obviously their parents might not want them to go there. So they might listen, they may not listen.
What interventions do you think have been put into place to make young people feel more safe?
To be honest, I don't really think that there's a lot that can be done. Well, we can see that the little thing helps. Like, for example, a youth centre, or like a boxing gym, or like maybe just somewhere that youth can come together and just like basically be one. But there's not really a lot of them. Before there was, and then after it just all got shut down, and then everybody just went wild. But if there's more of that, if there's more opportunities, that more people are actually, there's more youth clubs, youth places where people can go in, that they can just feel like, this is a place that I can go see my friends, or other people can come in as well, and you can just get bonding, you can just start making relationships with different people. That would work. But even now, that's even hard to do, because it's been out of control. It's spiraled out of control so much that everybody doesn't know who's who, or who likes who, or who doesn't like who, or where to put the youth centres. Or maybe if they put it here, they can get shut down quickly because something can happen, a mad thing can happen right there. So I think maybe building some youth centres and that could help out, but I just think that's just a little bit. That's just a small minority that will just help out. Apart from that, I don't think it can get any better in terms.
I agree with what was said. Honestly, I feel like a lot of youth centres, they aren't, as was said, a lot of them do get shut down, but I feel like a lot of them don't get as much recognition of what they actually do, and obviously if they don't get recognition, they probably might not get as much funding, and then they won't get the youth, and then they might just shut down. But I think it stems off with like schools, them not like putting themselves out there that there's this type of youth centre here, and just like letting schools know that obviously a lot of children, youth still go to school, or the majority of them still go to school. So if they have them interventions in place, they're more likely to try to attend if they know it's there. But if they don't know it's there, then they won't be able to attend to stuff like youth centres.
I'll be honest, I feel like even with youth centres, like we have loads in Newham. Like I was looking through like the amount that we have, and it's like we have a lot, but it's not that we like need more youth centres. It's what the youth centres actually give, like, and the way they outreach to people. I feel like what youth centres lack is a lot of outreach, like going to places, and not just like secondary schools or like go to the park. Not the park. Like go to like some famous event or something. Go to places where you'd think that these people will be in. If that makes sense. If you think they're gonna be chilling there in a park, go to the park and do it. Do you get me? There's no point going to a fancy event, like, because you know you're not going to find people that really need this the most there. And I feel like that's what we lack a lot. Like, I guess the good thing is going to schools. That's the best place. But what else? Schools are still limited, you know. Like, even sometimes kids don't even go to school, you know what I mean? And there's opportunities where... There's so many opportunities that youth centres should, like, outreach, but they don't. Like, even this opportunity right now, this, like, youth leadership group, like, can help so many people, you know, but it's not been outreached properly. And I think that's one of the biggest issues. So the last question I want to ask, do you think music contributes towards the social issues that we face?
Well, me personally, I think it does contribute to the social issues that we face, because let's start with young people. A lot of younger people, like, let's say between the age of like 9 and 11, like when they're just year 6 going to year 7, they listen to a lot of music that maybe boys in gangs might be like producing and stuff like that, and a lot of the music nowadays are very gruesome, and they say a lot of things that children might or young people might fall into, which is obviously there's a lot of big platforms like TikTok or Instagram or stuff, in Snapchat, obviously they hear that song, they might want to listen to it, and then they might get the wrong ideas of it, and then try to act out what they've heard or what they've seen on the music videos or stuff like that, and then one thing could lead to another, and then
I think I disagree with that, because I think that music is just for entertainment purposes only. Now, when you listen to music, you feel sometimes happy. You feel like, oh wow, there's certain days you're in the mood to listen to certain music because you like music. I don't think it really has a big impact. Like, it's music. Music is music. You can just say maybe you can if you say music has a big impact, for example, and then you'd be like, oh, Jewel had a big impact in the young violence. You can say like, okay, Bashment. Does Bashment make girls J-bags or something, like, you know what I mean? Like it's them ones that you can't say that, you can't put a stereotype on music, you get. So it's that music is just for fun for everyone. Music just makes people feel happy. Music just makes people feel, oh, they're type of just a type of culture. Like, for example, you have African culture. Yeah, they have their own music. You got the Jamaican culture, they have their own music. You got the Indian culture, they got their own music. You got the English culture, they got their own music. You get. So everyone has their own type of music. I don't think it influences anyone, to be honest.
You know what? Weirdly enough, I agree with you. Like, I've always been confused about the idea of how music can influence someone, because I don't listen to drill like that. When I listen to music, it's weird. Like, for me, it's usually the beats more than the lyrics. It depends. But for me, it's always been the beat. Like if I enjoy the beat, I listen to the beat. I don't exactly always pay attention to the music unless it relates to me, if that makes sense. And I've never been into that type of like the violence part, so I've never had that type of thing, and I don't even listen to music like that, like to give me like intention to do something crazy. And I do agree with you there, but I can't speak for everybody else.
I think music has a big impact when you like, when you like take drugs and that, like, when you smoke weed and that, then like when you listen to the music, like gets you like thinking it, like makes you want to do things and that, yeah. But when you're like more relaxed and that, you listen to music, it's calm, it's sober, yeah.
Thank you for listening. We are Team London Young Ambassadors.